Well, I hope you're doing well. Um, we finished out our last devotion with the thought that we would discuss the finished work of Christ, how important it is. And I know those are terms that are thrown around, the finished work, so on and so forth, and people oftentimes just make that statement as if, it's the catchphrase for some particular, belief system or attitude that we should all have. But what does it truly mean? What did it mean in John 19:30 when Jesus said, "It is finished," speaking of the work of redemption that he had done on the cross? What does it mean when in 1 John 2:1 and 2, the Word of God speaks of him being the propitiation for all the sins of the world? What does that mean? In all honesty, in the clarity that I think that the best of my understanding I can bring to this, it means that God himself has done everything that is necessary for an individual to enter into his presence, based upon Christ's accomplishments. Not based on their own, but based on his. Now this is where it gets sticky for all of us, because we always find ways to make what we are, what we do, or what we believe almost as good as what Christ did. We might even throw his terms into it, like put his name to it, but we've replaced his achievement with our own. And we've all been around this. I hate to say it, I think I've hardly ever met a Christian that hadn't in some way fallen prey to this. It's the human condition that we replace the mercy of God and his achievement with our own. His achievement draws us into a place where we have nothing to add, nothing that we can give, nothing that we can do that would make it any better. All we can do is accept it by faith, and in the humility of that recognition, we receive God's great mercy. The mercy that's spoken of that takes us out of this world and brings us into fellowship with Christ and places us in a position literally seated above, as it says in Ephesians 2 and verse 1 through 6. That's just simply the fact that we've received this. But, and as I've said, I think we've all fallen into this. I've met grace believers. Now, when you say a grace believer, you're talking about a person that believes that everything came as a free gift from God, that arrogantly tell people not only how they should live, but what they should be doing. In other words, their whole measure of life is based on a certain behavior. And again, I want to stress the fact, I believe that a person that comes to Christ, that relationship should alter their behavior. But what alters their behavior is the humility of the recognition of the mercy that they've received, not the achievement with regard to their behavior. I've met people that would name the name of finished work. In all honesty, at various points in my life have perhaps been part of this myself, or we just thought, the success of our church or our organization was the cat's meow, and everybody, no one was as good as we are. Now, by the way, I believe that if you're part of something, you should be thankful and even recognize the good that God has allowed you to do. But if it becomes the measure by which you believe others should be measured, and in so doing becomes a form of achievement that you believe that God himself must recognize, it puts you in big trouble, a little hot water there. God will not he will not allow people to compete with him. It will be his son's achievement and nothing else. Now, with that said, I don't know about you, but for me, what this does, it simplifies life. It teaches me to live my life humbly before God, to thank God for what he's given me and what he's allowed me to do and what he asks of me, to whatever the end result of that is, just simply to find myself faithfully serving in whatever capacity that may be. It takes you out of the, if you will, off the treadmill of goal orientation to the point that the achieving of those goals becomes the means of recognition, because your recognition now is your relationship to the God who saved you, and just the humble service that we have towards him. It takes you out of the realm of trying to tell God what should be done and just accept what it is he is doing and thanking him for it, so that if anything does, say, come of it, he gets the glory and not you. I don't care whether it's your marriage or your parenting skills or your ability to be successful at work, whatever it is. The moment we replace the humility of just thankfulness to God that he's given us the grace and the ability to achieve any goal at all, anything, and it just kind of deprives God of the glory that he should get in all that we say and do. I hope this helps. If nothing else, it's just me working through some of this thought process myself. Till next time, friends, God bless you.